way. You wanted to look. Do you feel the way you wanted to feel? Are you happy now that we fantasize? I do what I do, hey, hey. I do it on the heavy. I do what I do, hey, hey. I do it on the heavy. I do what I do, hey, hey. I do it on the heavy.
Could be shops, and clearly we are.
I couldn't believe it when I saw the first photograph of the Stones.
Would you be
in the papers.
insulted?
Yeah, but that
in
had nothing to
comparison?
do. We really music. That's the difference, I think. We didn't go out there to shock. We went out there to play music, and we were as we were when we were discovered in a little club in Richmond, and we didn't really change a thing. Hair was long because people didn't have money, so they didn't get it cut because it was expensive, even in those days. And you lived quite badly, and you just didn't have stage clothes because you couldn't afford them, and you just went out like that, and it kind of caught on, so we carried on with that.
So what
But the main thing to do, what we were trying to do, was play good music to people. I'm not sure about...
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think then of Sigue Sigue Sputnik, who admit, they're quite open about it, that music is very much second in their priorities. It's image that's important.
Well,
They say as long as you can play 3 chords or so, you get by. Elvis did it for 20 years, they say.
Elvis didn't really play music, he
Well,
sang.
no, but that's what they say.
You know, but they were good 3 chords, though, weren't they, what Elvis did?
I thought they were marvellous chords, but I don't know whether it's relevant at the
Well,
moment.
John Taylor, I mean, are you insulted by the fact... I mean, you work very hard at your music. You work very hard at your image as well. Here's a band who look as though they're going to be number 3.
Probably be number 1 next week.
Yeah,
I should think
probably
if we
be
carry on
number one
talking
next
about
week.
them.
They admit they can't play music particularly, as Nick was saying. They admit it's just image, and
It's a
they
great-
even advocate violence.
It's a great scam, though, isn't it? I mean, what Tony James is doing is he's trying to pull off what Malcolm McLaren didn't quite pull off 5 years ago. But I think if they carry on the way they're going, I think it might just backfire. It's close, but I think the violent element has overridden the excitement and the glamour that they're supposed to be purporting.
But
It's nothing,
the
though.
violence is exciting. I mean, that's what we forget, I think.
Yeah, I don't think what's happening to them right now, I don't think was on the cards. I don't think it was quite part of the plan, actually.
Well, this nasty incident with the bottle throwing,
No.
whatever did happen,
No, I
we
don't
don't
think
know.
that was part of Tony James's
One
plan.
person in the crowd had to have about 35 stitches to their
But
head.
again, I mean, that seems to be not unusual. I mean, people at concerts like that do get hurt, and people do throw bottles around.
Well,
I've been to some pretty
Sham
heavy-
69, I remember,
Oh,
like
those were
5 years ago.
dreadful,
It was
yeah, some great
horrendous.
scraps.
Why are
And people
young...
Well, the
like
most
Angelic
popular
Upstarts.
movies
Yeah,
are the
those were
violent
really
ones, you know,
violent.
as well, aren't they?
Well, there you are. Is it
And
are
TV
they
shows,
part of a disturbing trend?
It's hardly a trend. I think this sort of fascination with aggression and fascination with violence has been very much in pop music ever since the late 70s when the Pistols came along and changed all that sort of boy meets girl kind of romantic stuff that was in pop music and substituted aggression, anarchy, revolt in its place, and that's still been lurking around and is coming out in this Sputnik band.
Why do young people buy their records and make them so successful when they're not very attractive, are they?
Well,
I mean, in all
but,
sorts of ways.
they may not be to old fogies like us, you know. But,
It's very hip. It's a good name to drop right now. You know, you go to school and you've got the Sigue Sigue Sputnik record, and although, you know, we can sit here and say how outrageous it is, it's hip to have the record or have a badge, you know, when you're at school. I know what that's like, you know, when I was at school, it was great to be into bands that nobody else had heard of, or...
like the Rolling Stones.
Well, yeah,
Well, it was certainly so at the time. Do you regard it as an insult if we said Sigue Sigue Sputnik, just the Rolling Stones of the 80s?
There's lots of bands like that in America, been going around for a long time. Bands that blow up TVs on stage and cars as well.
Blow up cars?
Yes, yeah,
Plasmatics.
exactly. What's her name? What's the singer?
Wendy O. Williams.
Wendy O. Williams and the Plasmatics. They've been doing it for 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's not new.
Oh, we're very passé then to even be
I mean,
shocked.
go around with sledgehammers and smash cars up while the concert's
Chainsaws.
going on. It does take your mind off the music, doesn't it? It does make you focus your attention somewhere else, and I think that's the idea, really.
But The Who did that sort of thing, and their music was great as well. Why did they need to do it?
But it seemed to be more part of their music. It was part of what they were singing about and all that. And it was fun to watch. No one else was getting hurt, were they, really? And
Pete
I mean, Pete didn't get hurt. Keith
No,
Moon
it's
never got hurt. The drums got hurt, but they could always buy new drums. It was fun, kind of, you know. And
Peter-
Hendrix kind of did it. He set fire to his guitar while he was playing it and all that sort of thing, you know. and Screaming Lord
That's what you
Sutch
call
in the
hot music,
60s.
isn't it, really?
He used to do it. He used to set fire to the piano, you know, on stage. and things.
Peter, what does it say for our mentality or society's mentality then, if a group can go out to shock and get to the top in so doing, because they are going to be #1 next week, I don't think there's any doubt at all, and they are on the front page of the newspapers. They've really achieved exactly what they want to achieve, clinically, cynically. They are, they say, pretty useless at music. They're just out there with image.
Sure. I think it probably says a great deal about the role of violence in our society at the moment. I mean, violence is the new pornography. I mean, sex and all that kind of stuff we worried about in the 1960s. I mean, no one's really into that kind of stuff anymore. Sort of the video nasty has replaced the other kind of pornography. And in music, pop music in particular, it shows in the same kind of...
Wanted to look. Do you feel the way you wanted to feel? Are you happy now that we fantasize? I do what I do. I do it on the I do what I do. I do it on the I do what I do. I do it on
And that's John Taylor, who's one of our guests this morning from Duran Duran. Well, you wouldn't...
You really didn't like. You wanted to do all the Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis.
And they start you off with a book which has little faces in the notes.
You play all these silly, funny little songs. And it puts you off.
Yeah, you want to start on the piano concertos, don't you?
Yeah.
You probably did it the best way.
Bill, changing the subject totally, a brief word. What's happening about Keith Richard and Mick Jagger? Is that just a hype?
No, it's been going on for some time.
What, that they don't get on?
Well, it's just the thing about touring, really, you know. And that they are, I mean, we've all become more spread apart, you know. They are the two strong egos in the band, and so you do have a little bit of tension going there. But that's healthy, usually. But
Yeah,
there
but
is a conflict now of different opinions, whether you are touring or not touring.
Is that conflict powerful enough to lead a front page of a newspaper? Is it that big?
Well, some of the front pages of our newspapers have really got nothing to do with what's happening today, is it? You know, it's not just us. But I can sympathise with Mick in a way, because we can go on stage tomorrow. All you've got to do is learn your chops and get the songs right and all that. I mean, I don't move on stage, but Mick, he has to really train for 2 months, because he's running and jumping for 2.5 hours. He loses 6 or 7 pounds on every show, you know, in sweat. And, I mean, and he's the first one that's going to get told he's looking old, or he isn't jumping as good as he was last time, or whatever it is. You know, they don't write about I missed a note or something, you know. I'm your favourite Undertaker over there. They don't worry about me, you know.
Well, that'll be on your epitaph, perhaps. Anyway, Bill, thanks very much for being with us today. It's been great to see you. And you, Tom, good luck with Echo Park, both of you. It's
And thanks
great to
very
see
much
you.
as well to John Taylor for being with us, and give our best to the rest of Duran Duran and to Simon, who's probably still sort of in the middle of an ocean somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
And good luck with his single as well.
And that's
Good luck with yours.